Okay guys, so I wanted to make a video to illustrate the proper way to set up a drawing. And I wanted to use this support bracket as an example because if you look at what is given to you on Blackboard, you're only given one isometric view. And that's not what your final drawing should look like. We should have an isometric view, but it should just be to show what the part looks like overall. And instead, we should have orthographic views, top, front, and right side, in order to place our dimensions there. This object also has several holes, so I can illustrate how to put center lines in. So let's get started here. We're going to need to start a new drawing. Now this is a metric drawing. That's another reason why I wanted to show this one in particular. So when we start our new drawing file, we want to start with a metric template. So up here we have our parts, assemblies, and down here at the bottom are the drawings. So I've already clicked on the metric folder. I'm looking at the drawings, and I want, there are both DWGs and IDWs. I want an IDW. Here we go, ANSI millimeter IDW. That one is the one I want. And here it is, but it's a D size sheet. That's way too big. So I'm going to change that, go up here in the model browser to the sheet, right click on it, select edit sheet, and change this to a B size sheet. Should be more than big enough for what we need. Okay, then we need to place our base view. Now it does just so happen that that is the view I want, but that's not always the case. You might have to use the view cube here to rotate around to get it into the position you want. But since this was the isometric view that was given to us, this left side should be the front view. Looking at it from the right is the right view, and then the top view will be seen from above. So the base view should be the front view. So I want that to be this. Now again, that just happens to agree with my view cube. That will not always be the case. I just got lucky in this particular instance. So I'll place the front view, I'll project the side view, and the top view, and then hit enter to create my views. No, not enter. Let's right click and okay. Okay, so there we go. I've got my three views, but they're not exactly where I want them. So I'll take the base view and drag it over. The other two views are dependent upon the base view. So if I move it, they move with it. I want to make sure I've got some room in between my views and the title block. And I still need to place my isometric view. I could have projected it from here, but you can also place it as its own separate base view. The isometric view is independent, and if you want to make it at a different scale, what is going on there? Let me just right click and hit OK and make that there. This view was just made accidentally. Definitely don't need that. So I'll click on the red box that is around it and just hit the delete view. Yes, I want to delete that. Grab this view here by its red box and drag it up into place. So this view can be at a different scale. It can be a different visual style. In fact, I do want it to be a different visual style. I want this view to be shaded. So I'll double click on this and change it to a shaded view. This is the drawing view dialog box. We've got hidden lines removed, and shaded. I want it to be shaded like that. So this is the isometric view that we were given. And the isometric view needs to agree with the orthographic views. When I look at this, again, from this left side, that's the front view. That's what needs to be here. The right side view should be here, which it is, and then the top view is placed above. What I am seeing from some people is they're just showing me, some random isometric view, like this. that does not agree with the top, front, and side views, and that's just not proper drawing layout. We want the views to agree with each other. We want it to be coordinated. So let me cancel that. So the orientation of the isometric view does have a relationship to the layout of the the orthographic views. And now we have, I'm not going to dimension this entirely, but I am going to point out the center lines. Center lines are something that a lot of people are overlooking here. So on the Annotate tab, I've got one circle here, so I will use this single center mark. I could click on this circle, but I prefer to click on the larger. When you've got two concentric curves like we have here, this radius and this circle share the same center. Click on the larger of the two. Get a bigger center mark. So that goes there. And then the thing that many people are overlooking is these hidden lines here are showing me the locations of holes. These are holes as seen from the side. They need center lines as well. So I can click the centerline bisector, click on the two parallel lines, and it puts a center line in between. Now, there are no gaps in the center lines, and so that's perhaps a little less than ideal. We might prefer for there to be a gap there. So like a smaller line type scale or a larger drawing scale, but I don't think we really need to mess with that. That's something that would be nice to have, but not absolutely required. So I'll just leave that as it is. And then just come through here and click my other holes as seen from the side. And then this is a big hole seen from the side right here. We need a center line there as well. Don't forget that one. Same thing in the side view. Don't forget that center line passing through there. And then I can go through and put center marks on all four of these holes. So don't forget this part has 5 holes, and they all need center lines in all views. So we've got the center mark and 2 centerline bisectors in the top view, 3 centerline bisectors in the front view, and 4 center marks and 1 centerline bisector in the right side view. Again, the title block information needs filled in. So right-click on the name of the drawing up here in the model browser. I need to escape out of my centerline command. Let's try that again. Doesn't seem to be cooperating with me. What's going on here? Okay, so I finally got this to work. I'm not sure what I did, but it's now popping up here, eye properties, or maybe I was just overlooking it before. I'm not sure. But at any rate, I want to put in some information in here, like the part number. Now, this part number needs to be short. It needs to fit into this drawing number box in the title block. And if it doesn't really matter what we put here, but I'm thinking since this was part of assignment 4 and it was the first assignment there, we could call it 4-1, or it was from chapter 7, so maybe 7-1 would be a better part number here. So I could call it 7-1. Then over here I can call it the support bracket. I like all text for technical drawings. Company, Zane State College. I think those are really the only 3 things that are going to show up in the title block itself. So let me hit OK there. And I've got Zane State College, support bracket, drawing 7-1. So some people have been making some really long part number or drawing numbers there that don't fit inside the title block, and it just doesn't look professional. So that does it for the title block. We've got all the center lines in place. The only thing we need to do now is place the dimensions. So I don't know that I'll do all the dimensions, but I can do a few here. So you really only need to duplicate the dimensions that were given in the assignment. And we need the same level of precision. This is a metric drawing, and we don't need any decimal places. So I put my first dimension there, and it's 55.00. I only wanted to say 55. So if I right-click, let me escape out of my dimension command, right-click on here, I can go to Edit Dimension Style, and wait for the dialog box to pop up. Okay, and there's the precision level. I want that to be 0 decimal places. Save and close. So that should only be 55. So we've got 55 there. The next one is to these corners, 75. Then the outside, no, that the next one is to the holes themselves. So this is why it's important to have center lines. If I were to get this dimension here, I really need to dimension to the center lines. Without center lines, what am I dimensioning to if I put the dimension on this view? I don't know. So that's the importance of center lines. And just remember to leave a little bit of space between your dimensions. You don't want them to be right on top of each other or overlapping like this. That would be bad. You don't want the dimensions to be overlapping the part itself. So like I wouldn't want to put this dimension like right here with the number on top of the part. That would also be bad. You want to pull them out away from the part. Give them all a little bit of space. Don't make them too crowded. And really just duplicate the dimensions that are given in the assignment. That's how you'll know it's fully dimensioned, when you have all of the dimensions that were given. Let's look at a couple other dimension types. Like we've got a radius here. And that's the nice thing about Inventor. If you just dimension an arc, it knows arcs should be dimensioned with radii and not diameters. If you dimension a circle, it knows that that's supposed to be a diameter and not a radius. So Inventor is pretty smart in that way. So that's a good thing. You don't have to do as much stuff manually. One last thing I'll show you here is we do want to add some text to this note. So I'll just add that 4 holes, make sure it's all caps, diameter 12. That way I don't have to put dimensions on all 4 of them. Okay, and as I look at the assignment, look at everything else looks fairly normal, fairly straightforward. I guess one thing I would say as I look at it, this dimension here of 10, so Inventor actually didn't have room to stick it on the part itself, and so it moved it off to the side, which is exactly what I was just about to say, is that we shouldn't place the dimension on the part. We should move it off to the side ourselves, but it looks like Inventor kind of did that for us automatically. And so, yeah, so there's a few more dimensions to add here. I like to try to spread them out on the 3 different views, not putting them all on one view, but as long as they're there, that's fine. Don't dimension to hidden lines. So like for the width of that square groove at the bottom, we wouldn't want to place that dimension here. That should go over here where it's dimensioning to visible lines and not hidden lines. So a shaded isometric view, hidden line ortho views, dimensions on the ortho views. The ortho views agree with the orientation of the iso view. Title block is filled in, and we've remembered to put in all of our center lines. So those are some of the mistakes I've been seeing, and hopefully you will not make those mistakes anymore.